Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another snow day week, um, which will be on top of next week being online as well. So, I've had some weird weather and some weird circumstances come up for me to go out of town, but I think we'll still get a lot out of this module, and I think you'll actually really enjoy it. So, first things first, I moved more stuff down into the resources. So if you're looking for like those Black Magic apps, the camera and audio setting cheat sheet, things like that, this is where you can find that now, as along with the editing kind of software and the tutorials that went along with it. So that is down under resources. All right. So our learning objective, now that we have kind of learned about the camera, I know we still have like half of the camera lecture to go, which we'll do like when we're in person. But we've learned some of the camera and we've learned to edit. Now let's see how we can combine those things. So our learning objective is by the end of this module, we should be able to see the story connection created in a short film between shot composition and editing, and produce a 1 minute film around that time that demonstrates knowledge of shot composition and editing. So it's a critical step in understanding the harmony of film forms, such as shots and edits. So much like I've used this analogy in class before, much like a body is made up of many parts that form a human, film has many components that work together to create one complete thought or the movie. All right, so that's our objective, is how do they harmonize together? Okay, so first thing is go ahead and watch this. It's just a short little, I think it's like 10 minutes on different shot sizes, and they do a really good job of just kind of giving you some terminology. Like I've said, I've seen some directors who they're like, I don't even know the difference between a wide shot and a long shot. And it's all about communicating with your crew and understanding how the shots work for you. So this provides some good terminology and kind of makes sense on some of those different shot sizes. So go ahead and watch that. And then just for your edification, here is the camera lecture, the PDF, and here's a video version of it in case you missed last week, or you want a refresher for the assignment, some of the material I covered. Here's a video with the explanation. You're only required right now to know to about 30 minutes. When this hits the 30-minute mark, that's about as far as we went in class. I'll also, actually, I want to keep them where they are, but just remember for now that this is where those edit lectures are, both the PDF and the video if you weren't in class. And you'll see why in a moment. That may be important to you or it may not. Okay, so that's the lectures. And again, you don't have to rewatch this. If you remembered it, you retained it. This is only if you kind of need to go back with that explanation for what did I miss in class, or kind of anything like that. Just there to provide you help if you need it for the assignment. So what is the assignment? The first is, this is what we were going to do in class. If you kind of caveat, and I'll say it now, if you do have a lot of experience with a camera and you feel proficient in what you've done, please message me and I'll give you an alternate assignment. So for this, it's really about understanding how our camera works. Make sure that you have that Black Magic app on your phone if you don't. So what I want you to do, get my camera to demonstrate, is you're going to do two different sets here. The first is you're going to work on understanding focal length. So what I mean by focal length on a phone is zooming in and out. Okay, if you're using another camera, that camera on the lens, it has a zoom or it's a fixed focal length. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about. Focal length is essentially the same as zooming in it on your phone, though it's not quite the same thing. This is just kind of digitally magnifying. So You can find one person and one object, and just film it, whatever the case may be. Film a wide, zoom in halfway, a medium, zoom in close. I just want you to see, and you'll stay stationary for this first part, okay? And I just want you to see the difference when you do that versus now do it again, and instead of zooming in that same object, keep them in the same place. Keep your focal length the same, so don't zoom in, zoom out. Film a wide, and then just move in halfway. Film that, and then move all the way in. So you're kind of getting a wide, half the distance, and then right by the subject. So no zooming on the second. And then how I want you all to kind of handle slating when we get actual slates. I'll teach you how to slate on a slate. But for now, vocal slating works. So what you'll want to do is just call, you could say shot 1A, action, and then cut. So what I grade is between action and cut. That'll become a little bit more important on the second set, but that's how you'll slate. Camera up, make sure you know exactly what you want to do. You'll say roll camera, just to get in the habit of it. Roll your camera, action, slate 1A, action, get it, cut. All right, so just something like that. Right now, it's about to get you in the habit of sounding professional on a set. And again, it'll help you. Slating is all about keeping your footage organized, so it'll help you in the long run to make sure you have all of this when you turn it in too. All right, and then shoot a shot of a person making basic movement, such as moving an arm or walking, and then recreate it at 24, at 30, at 60. This you don't have to turn in. I just want you to observe the difference. And the reason is I'm going to have you put it in a timeline, and you have to tell your timeline it's either 24, 30, 60, or another frame rate. I don't know what that'd be, but anyway, so if you can put 60 frames per second footage on a 24 frame per second timeline, but it's going to slow this down, so it's going to be slow motion. So this is just for your own edification. So just do it just to see the difference on what it might be. Okay, and then part 2, I just want you to get a shot of all of these. A pan. Remember, pan is left to right. If you can, if you want that extra challenge, do it pan with somebody. Okay, have some sort of motivated movement. A tilt, a dolly. So tilt up and down. Dolly is the camera goes towards or away. I should make you rewatch the lecture so you remember these. Will be nice. And then track is the camera tracking back and forth. Low angle, high angle, and then a Dutch tilt or oblique. Okay, so just a lab, see that you kind of know, understand the terminology, but then also understand how the camera operates so you can kind of create the image that you want. So your shot should either be labeled, like put text over it, or you can keep the slate in there, but you're going to put all these shots on one timeline and export it as one video. Everybody's kind of using something different, so you should have an idea since we've done the eagle edit and things like that. All right, so that's just what you need to do with that. Just create it on one timeline, export it out. Just keep it 16:9 HD. I don't want you to upload anything 4K or anything lower than this. I want to get a good sense of what you can do. So yeah, if you were exporting the eagle edit, okay, then you should be fine. But always reach out to me if you're having any issues or want me to double check what you did is correct. Totally okay. I'm not going to laugh at you. I understand you're just learning right now, and some of this terminology might go over your head. Cool. So that is the lab. That will be due on the 24th at 11:59. So you have a few days to get that done. And then I'll tell you about this one first because it's a little bit easier. For this assignment, you'll screen the Graduate 1967 starring Dustin Hoffman and Anne Bancroft. This is a link for streaming options. There is one that is free. Tubi has a free version, but it has commercials. I hate commercials, so you can feel free to rent or buy it if you want. It's really good. You might end up liking it. If you're a Wes Anderson fan, it's like early Wes Anderson kind of feel. Just hipster in the 60s. I'm completely out of water. So as you watch the film, observe how the shot choice and edit help tell the story. You're going to just write kind of a short essay. So 300 to 500 words, right on the following prompt. Based on the shots and the edit, write an essay arguing what you believe the point of the film is. What is the meaning the audience should take away from the film? There's a very famous ending shot. I'll just say that's make sure you don't skip that part. But I think as you start watching it, you'll start to realize the shots are telling you something. The edit is telling you something. What is it trying to tell us? And then what is the overall meaning of the story? Remember we talked about that action idea? So Benjamin Braddock learns what? That life means this. Or the point of The Graduate is that existence means this. Whatever big topic you kind of want to take, or maybe it's more simple. Maybe you think the shots just show it's a lighthearted comedy and has no real depth. Prove it. Okay, that's the point. Prove what you're arguing. Okay, have a clear thesis statement. So what is your argument? Include at least 5 terms from the lectures in bold letters with the correct demonstration of the term in your essay. So from the camera lecture and the edit lecture. Remember I said that the edit lecture is just down one module beneath. I kind of want to keep it there just because I know that's the week we did editing, and going forward, if I need to refer, I generally will need to refer students back to that edit one especially. So I want to remember where that is, and I'm kind of worried about moving it around too much. But just go to the last module, find any terms that we've gone over between the editing and the like shot framing, size, composition, any of that. So for example, you could say the close-up shot at the end of the film conveys this meaning. So close-up would be in bold, right? So just do that for 5. So you 10 points for the thesis, 20 points for correctly using 5 terms. So it's not enough that you used it. You got to use it correctly too. Check your grammar and your spelling. Italicize the film's title. So you'll go down 2 points per issue. Make sure it's double spaced. So I kind of give you a few gimmies here. Double spaced, turned in on time. Okay. Caveat, make sure the format is good. Like if you indent the paragraph once, indent it all the time. So just be consistent. All right. And that is due on the 26th. So you have a little bit more time on that. Great movie. Very rarely met people who didn't like it. Probably one of the best films ever made. You can, if I were to get asked like what film teaches you the most about filmmaking, I'd probably say it's that one. Hero, Goal, Obstacle. So be your first film, and it's just as simple as someone with a goal and an obstacle stands in their way. We want to work on the camera angle and the editing. So let me show you, I had an assignment kind of like this when I was a grad student. We had to base it off of a French poem. Everybody read the same poem, and we had to make something, a hero, goal, obstacle based around the poem. So this is... I haven't seen this.
Autrefois je ne savais pas qu'il est des mots qu'on n'entend pas. Mais un soir une ombre est venue qui m'a dit écoute un peu plus.
So, what do I want you to do? Well, first off, keep it easy on yourself. Like, don't think that this has to be something, monumentally big. Just kind of getting a combination of your own shots and editing, together. It's kind of the goal here. Um, I tend to find students want to really overdo it. You'll get more chances down the road. Just show you can do it, I guess, would be kind of a good thing. Be sure to vary your shots. So, not just medium eye level shots, but start thinking things like close ups, anything like low angle, high angle, anything like that. Sound is required, but it can be as simple as just inserting music. Um, if you have dialogue and you're using a phone, just remember the microphone is pointing towards whoever's filming, not out. So make sure you're close to your actors and they can be heard. Um, you can have sound effects as well. Just make sure they're balanced. I'll use the term balance a lot, and that I just mean that it's if you have dialogue and you have music going on, is there balance? Can I hear what I'm supposed to be hearing? Um, is the dialogue too loud? Is the music or is dialogue too quiet? The music too loud? Those things just kind of get everything balanced, right? So it's exactly where you want to be looking. And there's a audio meter as you're editing. I always find it safe to hit everything to go no louder than -6 and no lower than like if it's dialogue you want to hit around -12. Music you can sometimes get up to -6. um, but yeah, definitely you don't want to probably get below like a -18, especially for something like dialogue. So that's again, everybody's using something different, but if you watch my lecture you kind of see what I'm talking about with it. No signs or titles like in an old timey silent film. Like if you can't figure out how to convey what you're trying to say, you're doing it wrong. Does that make sense? Like I get students do that a lot. They kind of get trapped. Like, how do I convey this kind of, I don't want to say exposition, but trying to do too much, right? I should just be able to visually understand it. Um, so here are the requirements: 45 seconds to 2 minutes. And that 2 minutes is me being generous. So don't ask for more time because normally I would not, I'd say a minute. Um, like if you're like just dying to do something, then use this as like I think I told you guys once that I have a film, but there's 45 minutes of deleted scenes. You want to start to learn to hit the time targets that people give you. So don't ask for an extension, and I'll deduct points if you go over 2 minutes. So you're filmmakers now, you got to kind of adhere. Like a piano is not an endless set of keys, right? There's a certain like barrier restrictions that you have. It's working within the frame. Same thing with film. Um, so 45 seconds to 2 minutes, 16:9 export, and shot in 24 frames. So you can shoot in 4K. You just got to make sure you scale it down to 16:9, and the edit should be smooth in cuts. So no, unless jump cuts is part of it, nothing. I know the difference between purposeful art and an accident. Let's just leave it at that. So, don't worry about like, oh, I did it wrong. I'm not trying to put that kind of pressure on you. It's just um, sometimes you're free to argue the art of anything you do. But at the end of the day, I'll be trying to make you professional. So I'll hold you to professional standards on things. Um, Make sure there's no flash frames on the edit. So no, just kind of tiny little black snippets. You'll just see this little pop of black. It's called a flash frame. Make sure that those aren't in there. And then again, balance the audio. Please put your name and the title at the start of the film over black for 3 seconds. You should know how to do that now by after doing the horror. So just you can make it this as cute as you want. But yeah, just have your name. You can add a title too if you want. I don't care. Upload the video file, not the project file. So whatever you export. Watch your video before submitting. I'll take 30 points off if we're in the middle of class and all of a sudden it went black, right? because you didn't watch the export. It does happen. Like I've worked for TV stations and people turn in um, their completed film, but in the edit something went wrong. And when you start playing it, it'll work, and then halfway through it goes black, right? Something happened. So you always have to watch your export all the way through. So make sure you do that because you're going to look really silly in the future if you turn something in and it does that. It happens, but it's just kind of one of those you learn to do it. And of course, you can always just scrum through it. You don't have to watch every second. Um, Sometimes you do, like on feature films, you'll watch that like 50 times a week and you never want to see it again. So grading will be determined on the criteria above, my rubric, and then my discretion, and you can kind of see the rubric over here. Um, so there's 100 points total to get. Basically, we're looking for shots, audio, and effort. Has a student demonstrated a good faith effort and followed directions? Then you're good. Student followed most of the directions but failed at least one major direction. Student followed most directions but failed at least two or more. I'll let you look this over. You can kind of get an idea. Key point: 10 varying shots. That's what I require. So 10 varying shots, different scope, size, medium shot, close, wide, high, canted, whatever you want. And then make sure that the audio is balanced. If there's two or more um, peaks, or it should be two or less, I'm sorry. And then more than three. So really listen to that audio, put headphones in, make sure it's good. You'll know. Can you hear what's going on? That's really the criteria for it. Oh, this needs to be quieter. This needs to be louder. Oh, I can hear that fine. All right, cool. So that is the rubric for it. And then that, I believe, is everything until we're back in class. Please keep me updated how you're doing. If you're falling behind, if you need an extension, I know with the storms, things might get a little bit crazy, but give me as much time as you can to ask for that extension. The closer it gets to the due date, I'm fair and generous. Just it'll help. I'm not going to be upset at all. I think you're paying for school. I should be accommodating every now and then when I can be. That's not to say I'm going to bend over backwards every single time something comes up, but I'm not a scary person, I promise. So that is what you will have. Yeah, I hope you enjoy filming. I'm excited to see what everybody does, and yeah, all the best. Happy filmmaking, everyone.